Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, Mr. the Fanboy, and of course the brown skin human. Come back at you with another video. And this right here is the second and third video, I promise. This video right here is my new and improved several reasons WWE sucks and a brand new spanking WWE rant that will mostly cover 2020, but I'll also mention some stuff from 2019 too. But one of the main reasons that inspired this rant, besides I mentioned in the Facebook message, one of the main things that inspired this rant was the first thing that inspired this rant was that horrible Empty Arena WrestleMania. Instead of canceling WrestleMania like everyone else, instead of canceling WrestleMania and postponing it until this COVID-19 pandemic is over with, now they foolishly decided to have an Empty Arena WrestleMania in a performance center. I'm going to be burying them for that in the on-camera portion of this video. Then the second reason was just 1 to 2 weeks later, the 11 WWE releases, 11 plus WWE releases, and all the money that they've lost. Then WWE was terrible as usual, but the star power and things like, first off, Drew Galloway defeating Brock Lesnar and winning the Royal Rumble. Drew Galloway was in WWE first as McIntyre. Actually, he was on the British European circuit first, so he's a British wrestler. He was on that circuit first, so I consider him a product of British-based wrestling. But he was in WWE. His first mainstream exposure was WWE. But he was terrible as the chosen one, Drew McIntyre. Then he was in, I think he was in 3MB. I can't remember at the moment. But he was just a jobber and just a joke. Barely got a reaction. It was just shoved down people's throats. And I thought, and I began, who was a huge supporter of the guy, just began thinking he was overrated, just a failed experiment. That was up until he got released and went to TNA and back to British wrestling and the independent circuit, and just became awesome so much. Once again, I consider him a product of British wrestling, and I consider him now a TNA guy. So he was fighting for the belt at WrestleMania. That gave me a new reason to watch. Then we finally had it. I've always wanted it, but then I didn't want it because I cared about his health first. The in-ring return of Edge. Royal Rumble wasn't even all that good, but it had its moments, mainly the Royal Rumble itself and Daniel Bryan's title match with The Fiend. But continuing with Edge's return and immediately igniting a feud with his former Rated RKO buddy mate and rival, tag team partner and rival, Randy Orton. And these two Ruthless Aggression era stars clashing at WrestleMania. You had Goldberg defeating The Fiend for Universal Championship. Didn't like the way it went down, but Goldberg had the belt. Goldberg got the belt, and he was going to fight Roman Reigns. Of course, they're not going to squash Roman Reigns in a 2-minute squash match and kill off his momentum like that. So I felt, this will be Goldberg's first long match at WrestleMania. We're going to talk more about that in the on-camera portion. So and then you also had returns of MVP Shelton Benjamin to television, and multiple other good things that I'm going to mention in the on-camera portion. But every other promotion during the COVID-19 is still, for the most part, thriving and, in my opinion, making good and smart decisions. WWE, on the other hand, is the only promotion that's sucking and getting worser and worser and worser. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the on-camera portion of this video. So with that being said, it's time to show you and show WWE what I am made of. Like I said in the part one off-camera portion of this video, despite WWE sucking like they usually do, there were several good things. Good things in the I mentioned Drew Galloway's upset Royal Rumble upsetting Brock Lesnar, winning the Royal Rumble, and going to WrestleMania. Like I said, I consider Drew Galloway a TNA guy. I even call him Galloway. I don't call him McIntyre. I call him Drew Galloway. Going to WrestleMania, one of the only TNA guys to re-sign with WWE, and is actually thriving. Now that got me back to tuning in to WWE. Then Edge's huge return. Edge's huge return at the Royal Rumble. I thought Royal Rumble was a weak pay-per-view, but it had its moments, mainly the Royal Rumble itself and Daniel Bryan's match with the Fiend, Fiend. So yeah, then Edge, like I said, as soon as the Royal Rumble was over, reigniting his feud with his former RKO mate and rival Edge. These were two of the biggest stars of the Ruthless Aggression era and two of the biggest stars of WWE's crappy PG era. Two of the wrestlers kind of keeping WWE together in this terrible PG era, which is, in my opinion, the worst era of WWE. Is one of the worst eras of WWE. And and um so yeah, these guys coming back. I didn't think Edge would ever return, and I didn't actually want him to return. I wanted him to wrestle again, but I didn't want to see him get injured and stuff. And Edge was the Edge. I think I've said it. No, I haven't said it. I haven't uploaded the video of that yet. But in that video that I haven't uploaded yet, I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. Edge is one of those wrestlers where I didn't appreciate him, and I guess some fans too. We didn't appreciate him while he was here, and when he was gone, we missed him terribly. He's one of those. Edge is one of those rare examples. Appreciate something or someone while it's here, because he or she or that something may not be here tomorrow. And Edge's wrestling career was the ultimate example of that. All these years I've missed Edge in the ring, and finally he was back in the ring. So you pretty much had a good WrestleMania card going. You have Seth Rollins. I like Seth Rollins better as a babyface, but he practically turned himself heel with his stupid Twitter comments and his mixed reactions, and he's surprisingly better as a heel. I like his new stable. I hate the Authorities of Pain, but they're good bodyguards for the two stars, which is Seth Rollins and his protege Buddy Murphy. I think that's his name. Yeah, that the new guy. He's pretty cool too. He's one of the other things in this feud with him and Kevin Owens. This Attitude Era inspired feud with Kevin Owens was pretty awesome. Was pretty awesome too. And then Goldberg and Roman Reigns. Goldberg since well you weren't gonna job Roman Reigns, you're technically your top guy out in a 2 minute, 2 to 5 minute squash match, 2 to 5 minute squash match like you did Brock Lesnar. So I actually felt this is gonna be Goldberg's first long wrestling match since coming back in 2016, and these two clashing for the Universal Championship. I hated the way Goldberg defeated the Fiend, but I'm a WCW fan first, and Goldberg beating was what I wanted. But and I don't like Bray Wyatt, but this Fiend gimmick is the best he's ever been. And why would you just job out your star, your just top star like that? It should have been a longer, more epic match in feud. But yeah, Goldberg couldn't do that, which I'm gonna get to in a minute. But Goldberg had the belt, which is what I wanted, and now him and Roman Reigns are gonna tear the house down at WrestleMania. Then so yeah, then I mentioned Drew Galloway and Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, I mean AJ Styles and Undertaker. These two clashing at WrestleMania, and yes, like I said, you had this phenomenal card. You had this phenomenal card for the first time ever. WWE managed to get something together for WrestleMania. In my opinion, WrestleMania was awesome in the 90s and 2000s. The 80s and 2010s are the worst decades for WrestleMania, but at least the 80s has an excuse. There wasn't that much glitz, glamour, and pyro back. There was glitz and glamour, but there wasn't that much pyro back in the 80s. So every WrestleMania show in the 80s looked like an episode of the main event, or a house show, they kind of had an excuse back then in the 80s, but in 2010s, WrestleMania has just been a big budget Raw, SmackDown Super Show, and a super indie show with a huge, gigantic budget, which is what WWE is these days. Nothing like the fable mythological WrestleMania Super Bowl of wrestling. They haven't been any of that. Even the ones that are the WrestleManias that are good, like WrestleMania 26, 30, 30, and the most recent, what was it? I think it was 35 last year. 35 last year. They're forgettable. You watch them, you enjoy them, but when it's over, you completely forget about them. Forget about them. Whereas most of the WrestleManias of the past, of the 90s and 2000s, I still remember. And still would rather watch over anything today. Then you have the other promotions like TNA, New Japan, All Elite Wrestling, and even Major League Wrestling. Throughout 2018 and 19 has some super awesome pay-per-views, and major gigantic wrestling shows that I still remember nowadays. I remember episodes of AEW Dynamite over freaking WWE's big time WrestleMania shows. But for the first time ever, you had a great WrestleMania card and everything looked good. That wasn't up until that coronavirus COVID-19 BS happened. And instead of canceling and postponing WrestleMania like everybody else, like every other promotion out there, nah, Vince McMahon constantly treating the workers like circus animals, and treating the workers, providing work environments, everything terrible about jobs and work is Vince McMahon's WWE, and has the genius idea. WrestleMania, your biggest show. WrestleMania, your biggest show will be not, first off, empty arena. What's worse than an empty arena? You're in the Orlando, Florida Performance Center in Florida. In Florida with no fans there. That means you also can't make any money. You can't make any money. So all these great matches, you wasted this great card on an empty arena WrestleMania. Most of the WrestleMania wasn't even all that bad. Wasn't even all that bad. It was just the fact you were in an empty arena. Undertaker and AJ Styles tore the house down with their awesome graveyard match. But look at where it took place, at a freaking empty arena WrestleMania. An empty arena WrestleMania. Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens, they tore the house down too. So did Randy Orton and Edge. But guess what? Look where it took place, at an empty arena, man. At an empty arena. I felt so sorry for the wrestlers here. Then you have Roman Reigns, who had to completely drop out of, the event because of the coronavirus. As such, Goldberg had to face Braun Strowman in a 2 to 5 minute squash match. In a 2 to 5 minute squash match. You got Goldberg, 50 plus years old, still, despite all this time to train, still can't wrestle more than 2 to 5 minutes, man. Goldberg, man, it's exciting to watch from a spectacle and nostalgic standpoint, but he is a shell of what he once was. Time to take off the nostalgic glasses. He is a shell of what he once was. He's lucky wrestling is fake, man, because, man, it's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. And man, you have a Universal title squash match at WrestleMania, your biggest show of the year, and Goldberg's quickly squashed by Braun Strowman, who he wasn't even supposed to face in a 2 to 5 minute squash match for the Universal Championship, man. Universal Championship. So that was strike 1 and 2 right there. That was strike 1. Strike 2, because instead of postponing this event, and I don't know, putting some of your other events, charging and putting some of your other matches and events on the show, on your network and show for free, like every other sports media, every other wrestling and sports media is doing. No, you do the dumbest thing in the world. Because you did it, because you had these stupid empty arena matches, which means no fans came. Which means since no fans came, no one paid to get in. No one paid to get in. As such, you ended up losing a bunch of money, and business is terrible now. Knowing WWE, they'll probably get it back together when WrestleMania. When this COVID-19 BS is resolved, but and as a huge WWE hater, they kind of deserve this for years and years, putting on horrible television and not caring because you got paid. Well, this time you made a stupid decision that's cost you business-wise. And that brings me to number 3. All the wrestlers who had to get released. What pisses me off, a lot of these wrestlers, particularly the ones I care about the most, Drake Maverick and EC3 and Michael and Maria Kanellis, who I could have sworn, now Maria was still there, I could have sworn Michael, did he quit several months ago? Did he request his release several months ago? That was one thing that was always weird. He requested his release, but for some odd reason, he was still listed as working for WWE if you checked his Wikipedia page. Well, anyway, he's gone for sure. Now, you bought these wrestlers. Eric Young, too, he's another one who got released. You signed these wrestlers and didn't do squat with them, man. Didn't do squat with them. This is what pissed me off. And you sign all these wrestlers just to have just to be the guy who has just to be the cool guy who has all the toys. You get these toys and don't do nothing, don't play or do nothing with them. You just sign them just to have them there on the roster. A complete waste of time. I hope AEW, TNA, New Japan, and NWA Power snatches up all of these guys, especially those four right there. I see this as WWE's loss and failure, and those promotions gain, right here. What's his name? So these are my just several reasons, and they give me even less of a reason. To watch WWE now. There's still a couple of guys there that I still like now, but they give me even less of a reason to watch them now. So yeah, that's my this is my several reasons WWE WWE sucks. It seems like it seems like they were for the most part improving and not good, but at least something to look at. There were good things. There were things for the first time in a while. There were things to actually look forward to on WWE on WWE, but that COVID-19 and that Empty Arena WrestleMania just ruined everything. Everything, man. Everything. Yeah. So yeah, while being the worst promotion, they had the biggest rosters. The biggest rosters. I think New Japan, AEW, New Japan, AEW, NWA Power have way better rosters than WWE. But WWE had a much bigger roster, especially with names. Look at some of these names. You have Bobby Lashley, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, Drew Galloway, Edge, Randy Orton, MVP coming back. Another thing that got me to the WWE, MVP returning. Shelton Benjamin returning to television, John Morrison, I didn't want to see him back in WWE after all the awesome stuff I saw him with in TNA, Major League Wrestling, and the indie circuit and the Lucha Libre based promotions. After seeing how badass they made Johnny Impact or Johnny Mundo or Hennigan, whatever you want to call him, I didn't want him to go back to the lame PG John Morrison character. But John Morrison coming back has been one of the best things that happened. Him and Miz's feud with the New Day has actually been okay, not good, but okay wrestling wise. So yeah, Johnny Impact coming back. Pretty much any past superstar coming back. That's how terrible WWE is. Any past superstar coming back was good. But you wasted all of that. You wasted and ruined all of that with this horrible WrestleMania. With this horrible WrestleMania right here. With this horrible Empty Arena WrestleMania. I don't think it'll be a while before I can watch and forgive WWE for that god awful Empty Arena WrestleMania, man. I will still probably be boycotting them when this coronavirus pandemic passes over. So, yeah, this was my rant on WWE. That's all I gotta say for now. I'll do another year in review and rant of WWE starting with 2017. Starting 2017 in a separate video from the other wrestling video I did. I promised in the last two intros. So with that being said, if you don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now. I'm finished. I forgot about my outro.